We're about to see more special moments over the next 40 minutes or so here in Le Mans. 27 laps then. The shark group, he will launch from pole position on the factory Ducati alongside Marc Marquez and Luca Marini on that front row. Lights out, and we're underway for our 1000th Grand Prix. Bagnaia got a really good launch away. Marc Marquez that will lead into the Dunlop chicane for the very first time. Martin again trying to go the long way around the outside, just leading the sprint. Bucking and weaving with Alex Rins on his inside, so a disaster for Brad Binder early on here. No significant progress.
Marco down 1 to 10th, Fabio Quartararo up 1 to 12th.
Yeah, further back there was Alex Marquez. He thought about a look. Brad Binder's hopes of 4 podiums in the last 2 Grand Prix look like they've been extinguished already here in Le Mans.
His initial launch was incredible. He was around 6th or 7th litres over the line at the end of lap 1 from Miller, Marini and Bagnaia. Martin then is 5th, Bezzecchi runs 6th ahead of Matt. Front of the field is how quickly can Bagnaia make progress, because he's mired here in the middle of the pack. We feel he's got good race pace.
Tyre temperature, tyre pressure, Miller's going for it here. I just wonder, this is Miller thinking about his front tyre temperature and pressure in the group. He got in hot, didn't he? He ran shoulder to shoulder, elbow to elbow, knee to knee. Miller has the inside line going into garage there.
Oh, Martin's
gone in really off this Grand Prix here in Le Mans. We hoped he will deliver in the 1000th Grand Prix. Oh. It has already. That was super tight there. Miller.
Got past Marini and all of that, so the world champion back up into 3rd place. The bravery of Jack Miller on the outside of the museum corner to stick it out around the outside of Marc Marquez.
Because otherwise he will be snapping straight back at you, just as he did on that epic second lap here. Maverick Vinales, the quickest man on circuit, the Aprilia, the Dunlop chicane. You bet he is. Is it going to be the block pass? Just park that KTM now in the middle of that chicane. They'll all bunch up behind the Australian now, but Miller hits the front for the first.
Bandai now will be to try and get his head down to pull out a bit of a lead before Bagnaia gets through on Marquez.
I think Miller was wary, Lewis, just about his front tyre. He didn't want to overcook it in the draft. Circulating in 8th. Brilliant by him. He started this French Grand Prix in 12th spot, so he's had an awesome start to this race.
Although still not made any progress from 10th, it's going to be a battle of the Frenchmen very shortly. Zarco and Quartararo are 10th and 11th at the moment.
Miller has been in this position at the race leader. Miller trying to make amends for his frustrating crash early on the medium front tyre in the sprint yesterday. We saw him punch the gravel.
Problems on that 3rd lap. Juanmir lost 10 seconds somewhere on that lap, so he's dropped to the very back of the field on the 36.
There was clear contact there. How many times has Vinales had contact in early race? I don't know if he might have lost some aero there. Looked like something might have broken off his bike, but Vinales are trying to run.
Of 7 that are away at the front of this field. Fastest lap of the race last time to Marco Bezzecchi on the 72, a 1:32. At this early stage of the race, that is the battle at the back of this group. And Augusto Fernandez, as Matt said, doing a tremendous job at the back of the picture. In fact, he's just been overtaken by the recovery.
His way back up into the point scoring place is 14. I'd love to see actually what happened to Binder into La Chapelle on that very first lap, which looks like it's certainly going to cost him a chance to throw it up the inside of Miller into the Dunlop chicane. And here we go again. Vinales is really toughing it out here, isn't he, with a Mooney VR 40C career? But Vinales' gloves are well and truly off.
Beautiful move that from Maverick Vinales, ran the outside of turn 3.
Fabio Quartararo has lost place to Aleix Spargo, Anthony Gianantonio.
Oh, contact! Vinales and
Bagnaia gone down. Vinales and Bagnaia caught up in a tangle to head in hands there from Massimo Rivola. Well, we need to pick the bones out of this one, because quite clearly they've got a difference of opinion now. This is hang on, steady on, boys. It's all getting a little bit heated. Vinales clearly thinks it was Bagnaia's crash. Bagnaia, no surprise, has a completely different perspective. We're going to... Oh no! Marini!
Oh!
There Marini went down. This is a real... Those 2 instants, it looked like Marini just made a mistake coming out of turn number 4. When all said and done, it's put Marco Bezzecchi up into 3rd place.
I'll tell you.
Yeah, here comes Vinales, and on the inside into turn number 11. He's just going to run in a little bit wide. He's trying to set himself up, isn't he, for the sweep down in a cloud of dust. And tempers have frayed in the gravel trap, no question.
See how to be angry at either. It's one of those situations.
Yeah, he just looked, didn't he, there, as we saw multiple replays, just a pure race. Vinales, I think, initially tapped Bagnaia on the head, and then the world champion retaliated. He was pretty angry with the response from Vinales, wasn't he?
Off the bike, you would now at what happened on the exit of Dunlop.
Yeah, I think Marini just lost control. He did, yeah. Somehow got through, and then as Marini, his tyres gripped again, he got picked up, but slammed into the side of Alex Marquez. Another really bad crash. crash, but it's good to see they broke the hatchet. Here comes Bezzecchi. That's really, really close. He's running Marc Marquez right out to the car park.
Here's another look then into Garage Vert. Bezzecchi just sends it. This is now under investigation as he moves Marc Marquez wide into Garage Vert. We thought his victory hopes were over. He's up into second place now.
Incredible. Brad Binder's up in teen. Bezzecchi now lunges on the inside of Martin into the Dunlop chicane. He's on the charge now, up into second place. Close eye on that one. Yeah, Bezzecchi does. He has got to drop one position. That was my first thought there. Having made that move, he ran Marquez into long that penalty loop.
He's catching this group at a rate of knots. The French hopes as Bezzecchi now does look behind him. He's trying to slot in behind, go quicker than all the riders ahead of him. 1:32.339 for the Frenchman. Martin out wide, but Zarco's about to join this battle.
Yeah, Martin battle potentially. He's Johan Zarco. What a ride by Augusto Fernandez. He's in 6th place at the moment. Dreamland for Hervé Poncheral's Tech 3 team in there.
And we're only on lap 10 of 27. Marc Marquez trying to hold off the recovering once again Jorge Martin. Second time we've said that. Fabio Quartararo in tonight as Bezzecchi attacks.
Yeah, he just set the fastest lap of the Grand Prix. Brief though, Later Sparger's on the charge. Bezzecchi then leads using a bit of Ducati power there. French Grand Prix. There is Zarco. There is Fernandez. Just out your picture as well. Later Sparger, who's the fastest man on circuit with a 1:32 flat. We are going to have dipping underneath him. He wasn't able to bring it to the apex. Marc Marquez sweeps on through. Marquez now back into second place. Miller looking for some instant retribution into turn number 11. He can't find it though.
And Later Sparger are right in touch now.
Where has this come from Bezzecchi though? I mean, there was no hint, no suggestion that he was...
To Marco Bezzecchi, that lead's going to be over a second when they come across the line this time around. If Bezzecchi continues the current trend on this 12th lap of 27.
Top 3, Miller may try and get him on the cutback. I just wonder here whether Jack Miller's overcut that front tyre. He's an Aussie who loves it. Still plenty of life in this one for Brad Binder potentially if he carries on.
And Augusto Fernandez who won the Moto2 race at a canter last season, but this is a level above anything we've seen from him so far.
It's been the best we've seen in this short MotoGP career. This man though is running away with it at the front, isn't he? Let's not forget that huge scare that Bezzecchi...
Personal best of 1:32.065, but Bezzecchi is just in a complete class of his own at the moment, pulling away at the front of this.
Signs of it right now though as he holds on to that second place.
We're watching the battle then for 6th, 7th and 8th. Jack Miller, who...
Experience on the factory Ducati. This is just his 5th start, of course, on the KTM RC16, so he hasn't got that database, he hasn't got that bank. He suffered on the medium, that's why he dropped down to the soft today, but it just has not worked out, has it? If we are correct in assuming that it is the front, that's because he was armed with a wealth of data and knowledge and experience on the factory Ducati. This is just his 5th start, of course, on the KTM RC16.
It's not worked out that way for Fabio Quartararo. He stayed out of what has been quite a lot of trouble in this Grand Prix. He's running in 9th position at 1:30.
And Jerez on course for a lonely 9th at the moment, just not figuring anywhere near the front like we've become accustomed to seeing the 24-year-old. Having got onto the rear tyre.
But Brad Binder certainly the quicker of the 2 KTMs at this stage of the race. Marc Marquez, clearly something's happened to him on this lap. He lost 0.6 of a second in the 3rd second.
Through this is the battle raging then between the 2 Spaniards. Marc Marquez versus Jorge Martin, Honda versus Ducati. Forget
not lose any time. Brad Binder clearly didn't, and he'll have to serve that long lap penalty, which is down at Garage Vert. If it's around a 3-second time loss, that will put him somewhere near. Go into the museum corner.
Marquez has gone down. Marc Marquez has crashed out. Listen to the groans. And that has put, well, initial groans, and then of it is Johan Zarco is on course for a home podium from the back of the 3rd row. What a way to mark 1,000 Grand Prix in our history. That is going to hurt big time for Marc Marquez. It just shows, Lewis, he's constantly on the limit, on the edge. But every time Jorge Martin, last lap underway then, Marco Bezzecchi in cruise control. It's been Johan Zarco will take a podium, but our 1,000th Grand Prix did not disappoint, did it? There is 15 times world champion, but he just takes second. Johan Zarco does take a... French fans absolutely love that special moment. 4th place, Aleix Espargaro 5th, Brad Binder from 16th to 6th. Flags, they are flying high because he was the big benefactor of the late Marquez spill. He takes 3rd place, and Marco Bezzecchi, confirmation on your screens, the 1,000th GP. He's our MotoGP winner.